तोरी करता रे वृंदावन वासी।
देखो थोड़ा विलास कुंजे दियोवा नयने हरि वो सदा जुगल रूप राशि। नमो नमः निवेदन धर सखीरनुगत कर सेवाधिकार दिए कर निज दासी। दीना कृष्ण दास कर ये ना मर भाई। श्री राधा गोविंद प्रेमे सदा नमाशि। श्री राधा गोविंद प्रेमे सदा नमाशि। Shri Krishna Prayasi Namo Jani Kani Cha Papani Brahmatyadikani Cha Kani Kani Cha Pranasyanti Pradashina Pade Pade यानि कानि च पापानि ब्रह्मत्यादि कानि तानि च प्रणश्यन्ति प्रदर्शन पदे पदे कानि तानि च प्रणश्यन्ति यानि कानि च पापानि ब्रह्मत्यादि कानि तानि च प्रणश्यन्ति प्रदर्शन पदे पदे Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
किताब देख रहे थे।
Upstairs.
I'm checking which one to use. Shri Madhuvendrapuri devotional
Yeah, somebody else is coming around today. Very, I'm going to go on myself. It is.
Chapter 4 Sri Madhuvendrapuri's devotional service. Summary. In his Amritya Prabhav Bhashya, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur gives the following summary of the 4th chapter. Passing along the path of Chhatra Bhoga and coming to Vridha Manteshwara, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu reached the border of Odisha. On his way, he enjoyed transcendental bliss by chanting and begging alms in different villages. In this way, he reached the celebrated village of Remuna, where there is a deity of Gopinath. There, he narrated the story of Madhuvendrapuri as he had heard it from his spiritual master Ishwar Puri. The narration is as follows. One night while in Govardhan, Madhuvendrapuri dreamed that the Gopal deity was within the forest. The next morning, he invited his neighborhood friends to accompany him to excavate the deity from the jungle. He then established the deity of Sri Gopalji on the top of Govardhan hill with great pomp. Gopal was worshipped and the Annakut festival was observed. This festival was known everywhere and many people from the neighboring villages came to join. One night, the Gopal deity again appeared to Madhuvendrapuri in a dream and asked him to go to Jagannath Puri to collect some sandalwood pulp and smear it on the body of the deity. Having received this order, Madhuvendrapuri immediately started for Orissa. Traveling through Bengal, he reached Remuna village and there received a pot of condensed milk, kheer, offered to the deity of Gopinath ji. This pot of condensed text 1 translation. I offer my respectful obeisances unto Madhuvendra Puri, who was given a pot of sweet rice stolen by Sri Gopinath, celebrated there as Kheer Chor. Being pleased by Madhuvendra Puri's love, Sri Gopal, the deity of Govardhan, appeared to the public vision. Purport. Bhakti Vinod Thakur annotates that this Gopal deity was originally installed by Vraja, the great grandson of Krishna. Madhuvendra Puri rediscovered Gopal and established him on the top of Govardhan hill. This Gopal deity is still situated at Nathdwar and is under the maintenance of descendant of Vallabhacharya. The worship of the deity is very luxurious and one who goes there can purchase variety of prasadam by paying a small price. Text 2. All glories to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, all glories to Nityananda Prabhu, all glories to Advaita Prabhu and all glories to the devotees of Lord Chaitanya. The Lord went to Jagannath Puri and visited Lord Jagannath's temple. He also met with Sarambhom Bhattacharya. All these pastimes have been very elaborately explained by Vrindavandas Thakur in his book Chaitanya Bhagavat. By nature, all the activities of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu are very wonderful and sweet, and when they are described by Vrindavandas Thakur, they become like a shower of nectar. Therefore, I very humbly submit that since these incidents have already been nicely described by Srila Vrindavandas Thakur, I would be very proud to repeat the same thing, and this would not be very good. I do not have such powers. I am therefore presenting only a synopsis of those events already described elaborately by Srila Vrindavandas Thakur in his Chaitanya Mangal, now known as Chaitanya Bhagavat. Text 8. Some of the incidents he did not describe elaborately but only summarized, and these I shall try to describe in this book. Next. I thus offer my respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of Vrindavandas Thakur. I hope that I will not offend his lotus feet by this action. Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu proceeded towards Jagannath Puri with 4 of his devotees, and he chanted the holy name of the Lord, the Hare Krishna mantra, with great eagerness. Each day, Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu personally went to a village and collect a great quantity of rice and other grains for the preparation of prasadam. Text 12. There were many rivers on the way, and at each river there was a tax collector. They did not hinder the Lord, however, and he showed them mercy. Finally, he reached the village of Remuna. Purport. There is a railway station named Baleshwar, and 5 miles to the west of this village is Remuna. The temple of Kheer Chor Gopinath still exists in this village, and within the temple, the Samadhi dome of Rashikananda Prabhu, the chief disciple of Shyamananda Goswami, can still be found. Text 13.
Torch नहीं है, light. हाँ.
The deity of Gopinath in the temple of Remuna was very attractive. Lord Chaitanya visited the temple and offered his obeisances with great devotion. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu offered his obeisances at the lotus feet of Gopinath deity, the helmet of flowers on the head of Gopinath fell down and landed on the head of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. When the deity's helmet fell upon his head, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu became very pleased, and thus he chanted and danced in various ways with his devotees. All the servants of the deity were struck with wonder due to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's his executive beauty and his transcendental qualities. Because of their love for Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they served him in many ways, and that night the Lord stayed at the temple of Gopinath. The Lord remained there because he was very eager to receive the remnant of sweet rice offered to Gopinath deity, having heard a narration from his spiritual master Ishwar Puri of what had once happened there.
Go back. Two paragraphs.
दो paragraph पीछे.
Each day Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu personally went to a village and collected a
Ramani. Today I'm going to do the reading myself in 20 minutes.
बस अभी जा रहे हैं महाराज पूजा करके.
Puja है.
नहीं, आप पूजा करेंगे. वो तो कल जाएंगे पूजा.
Okay. You know when I come
श्रीनारायण को
read.
I should read. Others let him read.
Let him read. Let him read.
Huh?
Let him read.
Sure.
If you don't mind.
Yes, sure. I will watch you do the puja during Maharaj. You will have to. Please read.
ग्लास देंगे महाराज, इधर से ही देंगे तो इधर लाइएगा.
हाँ ठीक है.
Read.
When the deity's helmet fell upon his head, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu became very pleased, and thus he chanted and danced in various ways with his devotees. All the servants of the devotee were struck with wonder due to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's intense love, his exquisite beauty, and his transcendental qualities. Because of their love for Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they served him in many ways, and that night the Lord stayed at the temple of the Gopinath. The Lord remained there because he was very eager to receive the remnant of sweet rice offered to the Gopinath deity, having heard a narration from his spiritual master Ishwar Puri of what.
Maybe I should give everyone a chance. You read for 5 minutes?
Continue reading.
I can read. He's reading tonight. Let him read. You read it, then you give it to the next person.
I'll read from my brother. I'm sorry for this.
जल्दी जल्दी.
You were on which one? Text. Let's start from text. Text reading translation. The Lord remained there because he was very eager to receive the remnants of sweet rice offered to the Gopinath deity, having heard a narration from his spiritual master Ishwar Puri of what had once happened there. Text 19 translation. That deity was known widely as Krishna Chora Gopinath, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told his devotees the story of how the deity became so famous. Text 20 translation. Formerly, the deity had stolen a pot of sweet rice for Madhuvendrapuri. Therefore, he became very famous as the Lord who stole the sweet rice. Text 21 translation. Once Sri Madhuvendrapuri traveled to Vrindavan, where he came upon the hill known as Govardhan. Text 22 translation. Madhuvendrapuri was almost mad in his ecstasy of love of Godhead, and he know whether it was day or night. Sometimes he stood up and sometimes he fell to the ground. He could not discriminate whether he was in a proper place or not. Text 23 translation. After circumambulating the hill, Sri Madhuvendrapuri went to Govinda Kunda and took his bath. He then sat beneath a tree to take his evening rest. Text 24 translation. While he was sitting beneath a tree, an unknown cowherd boy came with a pot of milk, placed it before Madhuvendrapuri, and smiling addressed him as follows. Text 25 translation. O Madhuvendrapuri, please drink the milk I have brought. Why don't you beg some food to eat? What kind of meditation are you undergoing? Text 26 translation. When he saw the beauty of that boy, Madhuvendrapuri became very satisfied. Hearing his sweet words, he forgot all hunger and thirst. Text 27 translation. Madhuvendrapuri said, "Who are you? Where do you reside? And how did you know that I was fasting?" Text 28 translation. The boy replied, "Sir, I am a cowherd boy and I reside in this village. In my village, no one fasts." Text 29 translation. In this village, a person can beg food from others and thus eat. Text 29 translation. In this village, a person can beg food from others and thus eat. Some people drink only milk, but if a person does not ask anyone for food, I supply him all his eatables. Text 30 translation. The woman who came here to take water saw you, and they supplied me with this milk and sent me to you. Text 31 translation. The boy continued, I must go very soon to milk the cows, but I shall return and take back the milk pot from you. Text 32 translation. Saying this, the boy left the place. Indeed, he suddenly could be seen no more, and Madhuvendrapuri's heart was filled with wonder. Text 33 translation. After drinking the milk, Sri Madhuvendrapuri washed the pot and put it aside. He looked towards the path, but the boy never returned. Text 34 translation. Madhuvendrapuri could not sleep. He sat and chanted the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and at the end of the night he dozed a little and his external activities stopped. Text 35 translation. In a dream, Madhuvendrapuri saw this very same boy. The boy came before him and holding his hand took him to a bush in the jungle. Text 36 translation. The boy showed Madhuvendrapuri the bush and said, I reside in this bush, and because of this I suffer very much from very severe cold, rain showers, winds and scorching heat. Text 37 translation. Please bring the people of the village and get them to take me out of this bush. Then have them situate me nicely on top of the hill. Text 38 translation. Please construct a temple on top of that hill, the boy continued, and install me in that temple. After this, wash me with large quantities of cold water so that my body may be cleansed. Text 39 translation. For many days I have been observing you, and I have been wondering, when will Madhuvendrapuri come here to serve me? Text 40 translation. I have accepted your service due to your ecstatic love for me. Thus I shall appear, and by my audience all fallen souls will be delivered. Text 41 translation. My name is Gopala. I am the lifter of the Govardhan hill. I was installed by Vajra, and here I am the authority. Text 42 translation. When the Muslims attacked, the priests who were serving me hid me in this bush in the jungle. Then he ran away out of fear of the attack. Text 43 translation. Since the priest went away, I have been staying in this bush. It is very good that you have come here. Now just remove me with care. Text 44 translation. After saying this, the boy disappeared. Then Madhuvendrapuri woke up and began to consider his dream. Text 45 translation. Madhuvendrapuri began to lament. I saw Lord Krishna directly, but I could not recognize him. Thus he fell down on the ground in ecstatic love. Text 46 translation. Madhuvendrapuri cried for some time, but then he fixed his mind on executing the order of Gopala. Thus he became tranquil. Text 47 translation. After taking his morning bath, Madhuvendrapuri entered the village and assembled all the people. Then he spoke as follows. Text 48 translation. The proprietor of this village, Govardhan Dhari, is lying in the bushes. Let us go there and rescue him from that place. Text 49 translation. The bushes are very dense and we will not be able to enter the jungle. Therefore take choppers and spades to clear the way. Text 50 translation. After hearing this, all the people accompanied Madhuvendrapuri with great pleasure. According to his directions, they cut down bushes, cleared a path, and entered the jungle. Text 51 translation. When they saw the deity covered with dirt and grass, they were all struck with wonder and pleasure. Text 52 translation. After they had cleansed the body of the deity, some of them said, "The deity is very heavy. No single person can move him." Text 53 translation. Since the deity was very heavy, some of the stronger men assembled to carry him to the top of the hill. Madhuvendrapuri also went there. Text 54 translation. A big stone was made into a throne and the deity was installed upon it. Another big stone was placed behind the deity for support. Text 55 translation. All the Brahmana priests of the village gathered together with 9 water pots, and water from Govinda Kund lake was brought there and filtered. Text 56 translation. When the deity was being installed, 900 pots of water were brought from Govinda Kunda. There were musical sounds of bugles and drums and the singing of women. Text 57 translation.
is gone.
Can I give you this, Prabhuji, to read this?
No.
Text 57 translation. Text 57 translation. During the festival at the installation ceremony, some people sang and some danced. All the milk, yogurt, and clarified butter in the village was brought to the festival. Text 58 translation. Various foods and sweet meats, as well as other kinds of presentations, were brought there. I am unable to describe all these. Text 59 translation. The villagers brought a large quantity of tulsi leaves, flowers, and various kinds of garments. Then Sri Madhuvendrapuri personally began the Abhishek bathing ceremony. Guru Maharaj, there's a small paragraph of purport. Should I read it?
Yeah.
Purport by Srila Prabhupada.
Why the
Srila
police
Prabhupada.
was never purported
Text. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. In the Hari Bhakta Vilasa, 6th Vilasa verse 30, it is stated that the deity should be bathed in water mixed with yogurt and milk, accompanied by the sounds of conch shells, bells, and other instruments, and the chanting of the mantra Om Bhagavate Vasudevaya Namaha, as well as the chanting of the Brahma Samhita verses beginning Chintamani Prakara Sadmasu Kalpa Vriksha Laksha Vrateshu Surabhir Abhipalyantam. Text 60 translation. After all inauspicious things were driven away by the chanting of the mantra, the deity's bathing ceremony started. First, the deity was massaged with a large quantity of oil so that his body became very glossy. Text 61 translation. After the first bathing, further bathings were conducted with Panchagavya and then with Panchamrita. Then the Mahasnan was performed with ghee and water, which had been brought in 100 pots. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The ingredients of Panchagavya are milk, yogurt, ghee, clarified butter, cow urine, and cow dung. All these items come from the cow, therefore we can just imagine how important the cow is. Since its urine and stool are required for bathing the deity, the Panchamrit consists of 5 kinds of nectar, yogurt, milk, ghee, honey, and sugar. The major portion of this preparation also comes from the cow. To make it more palatable, sugar and honey are added. Text 62 translation. After the Mahasnan was finished, the deity was again massaged with scented oil and his body made glossy. Then the last bathing ceremony was performed with scented water kept within a conch shell. Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. In this commentary on this occasion, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur quotes from the Hari Bhakta Vilasa: barley powder, wheat powder, vermilion powder, urad dal powder, and another powder preparation called avta, made by mixing banana powder and ground rice, are applied to the deity's body with a brush made from the hair at the end of a cow's tail. This produces a nice finish. The oil smeared over the body of the deity should be scented. To perform the Mahasnana, at least 2.5 manas, about 24 gallons of water are needed to pour over the body of the deity. Text 63 translation. After the body of the deity was cleansed, he was dressed very nicely with new garments. Then sandalwood pulp, tulsi garlands, and other fragrant flower garlands were placed upon the body of the deity. Text 64 translation. After the bathing ceremony was finished, incense and lamps were burned and all kinds of food offered before the deity. These foods included yogurt, milk, and as many sweetmeats as we received. Text 65 translation. The deity was first offered many varieties of food, then scented drinking water in new pots, and then water for washing the mouth. Finally, pan mixed with a variety of spices was offered. Text 66 translation. After the last offering of Tambula and pan, Bhoga Aratrika was performed. Finally, everyone offered various prayers and then obeisances, falling flat before the deity in full surrender. Text 67 translation. Text 67 translation. As soon as the people of the village had understood that the deity was going to be installed, they had brought their entire stocks of rice, dal, and wheat flour. They brought such large quantities that the entire surface of the top of the hill was filled. Text 68 translation. When the villagers brought their stock of rice, dal, and flour, the potters of the village brought all kinds of cooking pots, and in the morning the cooking began. Text 69 translation. 10 brahmanas cooked the food grains, and 5 brahmanas cooked both dry and liquid vegetables. Sorry, on the pages. Text 69 translation. 10 brahmanas cooked the food grains, and 5 brahmanas cooked both dry and liquid vegetables. Text 70 translation. The vegetable preparations were made from various kinds of spinach, roots, and fruits collected from the forest, and someone had made bada and badi by mashing dal. In this way, the brahmanas prepared all kinds of food. Text 71 translation. 5 to 7 men had prepared a huge quantity of chapatis, which were sufficiently covered with ghee, clarified butter, as were all the vegetables, rice, and dal. Text 72 translation. Please read from here. Text 72 translation.
All the cooked rice was all the cooked rice was stacked on palasa leaves, which were on new clothes spread over the ground. 73. Around the stack of cooked rice were stacks of chapatis, and all the vegetables and liquid vegetable preparations were placed in different pots and put around them. 74. Pots of yogurt, milk, buttermilk, shikarni, sweet rice, cream, and solid cream were placed along the side of the vegetables. In this kind of ceremony, which is called as Annakuta, cooked rice is stacked like a small mountain for prasadam distribution. In this way, the Annakuta ceremony was performed, and Sri Madhuvendrapuri Goswami personally offered everything to Gopala. Many water pots were filled with scented water for drinking, and Lord Sri Gopala, who had been hungry for many days, ate everything offered to him. Although Sri Gopala ate everything offered, still by the touch of his transcendental hand, everything remained as before. Purport for 77 text. The atheist cannot understand how the Supreme Personality of Godhead, appearing in the form of the deity, can eat all the food offered by his devotees. In Bhagavad Gita 9.26, Krishna says, Patram pushpam phalam toyam yomi bhaktya prayachati tataham bhakti upahritam ashnami prayatatmanaha. If one offers me with love and devotion a leaf, a flower, a fruit or water, I will accept it. The Lord is Purna, complete, and therefore he eats everything offered by his devotees. However, by the touch of his transcendental hand, all the food remains exactly as before. It is the quality that is changed. Before the food was offered, it was something else, but after it is offered, the Lord acquires a transcendental quality. Because the Lord is Purna, he remains the same even after eating. Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnam Eva Vasishtate. The food offered to Krishna is qualitatively as good as Krishna. Just as Krishna is Abhyaya, indestructible, the food eaten by Krishna, being identical with him, remains as before. Apart from this, Krishna can eat the food with any one of his transcendental senses. He can eat by seeing the food or by touching it. Nor one should think that it is necessary for Krishna to eat. He does not become hungry like an ordinary human being. Nonetheless, he presents himself as being hungry, and as such, he can eat everything and anything regardless of quantity. The philosophy underlying Krishna's eating is understandable by our transcendental senses.
When our senses are purified by constantly being engaged in the devotional service of the Lord, we can understand Krishna's activities, names, forms, qualities, pastimes, and entourage. Atas Sri Krishna Namadi Nabhave Dhagyam Indriya Seven Mukhahi Jibbahu Swayam Eva Spuritukarah. No one can understand Krishna by the blunt material senses, but he reveals himself to the devotees, being pleased with them for their transcendental loving service unto him. Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 1.2.234. The devotees understand Krishna through revelation. It is not possible for a mundane scholar to understand Krishna and his pastimes through research work or non-devotional platform. How Gopala ate everything while the food remained the same was transcendently perceived by Madhuvendrapuri Goswami. Nothing remains a secret to the devotees of the Lord. The wonderful festival and installation of Sri Gopalji was arranged in one day. Certainly, all this was accomplished by the potency of Gopala. No one but a devotee can understand this. Purport the text 79. The Krishna conscious movement has spread all over the world within a very short time, within 5 years. And mundane people are very much astonished at this. However, by the grace of Shiva Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we understand that everything is possible by the grace of Krishna. Why does Krishna have to take 5 years? In 5 days, he can spread his name and fame all over the world like wildfire. Those who have faith in and in devotion to Krishna can understand these things. Happen so wonderfully by the grace of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. We are simply the instruments. In the fierce battle of Kurukshetra, Arjuna was victorious within 18 days simply because Krishna's grace was on his side. Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna, Yatra Partho Dhanitra, Tatra Sri Vijayo Bhutir, Dhruvanita, Wherever there is Krishna, the master of all mystics, and wherever there is Arjuna, the supreme archer, there will be also certainly be opulence, victory, extraordinary power, and morality. This is my opinion. Bhagavad Gita 18.78. If the preachers in our Krishna conscious movement are sincere devotees of Krishna, Krishna will be always with them because he is very kind and favorable to all his devotees. Just as Arjuna and Krishna were victorious in the battle of Kurukshetra, this Krishna conscious movement will surely emerge victorious if we remain sincere devotees of the Lord and serve the Lord according to the advice of the predecessors, the 6 Goswamis and other devotees of the Lord. As Narottam Das Thakur has stated, Nandere Charane Suvai Bhakta Sane Vasa Janma Janme Hoy Ve Abhilash. The Krishna conscious devotees must always desire to remain in the society of devotees. Bhakti Sane Vas. They cannot go outside the Krishna conscious society or movement. Within the society, we must try to serve the predecessors by preaching Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's cult and spreading his name and fame all over the world. If we attempt this seriously within the society, it will be successfully done. There is no question of estimating how this will be done in the mundane sense, but without a doubt, it happens by the grace of Krishna. Text 80. Sri Madhuvendrapuri offered a water to Gopala for washing his mouth and gave him betel nuts to chew. Then while Aarti was performed, all the people chanted Jai Jai, all glories to Gopal. Arranging for the Lord's rest, Sri Madhuvendrapuri brought a new cot and over this he spread a new bedspread and thus made the bed ready. A temporary temple was constructed by covering the bed all around with a straw mattress. Thus there was a bed and a straw mattress to cover it. After the Lord was laid down to rest on the bed, Madhuvendrapuri gathered all the Brahmanas who had prepared for the prasadam and said to them, "Now feed everyone sumptuously from the children on up to the aged." All the people gathered there sat down to honor the prasadam, and by and by they took food. All the Brahmanas and their wives were fed first. According to the Varnashrama system, the Brahmanas are always honored first. Thus, at the festival, the Brahmanas and their wives were first offered the remnants of food and then the others, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas and Sudras. This has always been the system and it is still prevalent in India, even though the caste Brahmanas are not qualified. The system is still current due to the Varnashrama's institutional rules and regulations. Those who took prasadam included not only the people of Govardhana village, but also those who came from other villages. They also saw the deity of Gopala and were offered prasadam to eat. Seeing the influence of Madhuvendrapuri, all the people gathered there, they were struck with wonder. They saw that Annakut ceremony, which had been performed during the time of Krishna, was now taking place again by the mercy of Sri Madhuvendrapuri. Purport number 86. Formerly, at the end of Dwapara Yuga, all the cowherd men of Vrindavana had arranged to worship King Indra, but they gave this worship following the advice of Krishna. Instead, they performed a ceremony whereby they worshipped the cows, Brahmanas, and Govardhan Hill. At that time, Krishna expanded himself and declared, I am Govardhana Hill. In this way, he accepted all the Parampuria and offered to Govardhana Hill. It is stated in Srimad Bhagavatam 10.24.26. Pachyantam vidhapakaha shipantaha pashyadham samyavapupasakyushaham sarvadohastuyatam kalatmanam bhagavata shakram dharpam vighamsata rotam nisham yanandhaya sadhyat advita tatvachaha tatayaccha vidhyat sarvam tataha madhusudanaha achetye swasti ayanam tadhravyena grihitvidam uparadhya balin sarvan adhratayavasamgavam Godhanani Puraskritya Girim Chakru Pradakshinam. People were very nice foods, prepared very nice fruits of all descriptions from the grains and ghee collected from the yajna. Prepared rice, dal, then halwa, pakora, puri, and all kinds of milk preparations like sweet rice, sweet balls, sandesha, rasgulla, and laddu. The Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna therefore advised the cowherd men to stop the Indra Puja and begin the Govardhana Puja to chastise Indra, who was very much puffed up and being the supreme controller of the heavenly planets. The honest and simple cowherd men, headed by Nanda Maharaja, accepted Krishna's proposal and executed in detail everything he advised. They performed Govardhana worship and the circumambulation of the hill. According to the instruction of Lord Krishna, Nanda Maharaja and the cowherd men called in learned Brahmanas and began to worship Govardhana hill by chanting Vedic hymns and offering prasadam. The inhabitants of Vrindavana assembled together, decorated their cows and gave them grass. Keeping the cows in front, they began to circumambulate Govardhana hill. Text 87. All the Brahmanas present on that occasion were initiated by Sri Madhuvendrapuri into the Vaishnava cult, and Madhuvendrapuri engaged them in different types of service. Purpose. In the scriptures, it is stated that Satkarma Nipano Vipro Mantra Tantra Visharadaha. A qualified Brahmana must be expert in the occupation duties of the Brahmana. His duties are mentioned as 6 Brahmanical engagements. Patanaha, which means a Brahmana must be conversant with the Vedic scriptures. He must also be able to teach others to study the Vedic literatures. This is Patana. He must also be expert in worshipping different deities and in performing Vedic rituals, Yajna. On account of this Yajna, the Brahmana, being the head of the society, performs all the Vedic rituals for Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and Sudras. This is called as Yajnaha, assisting others in performing ceremonies. The remaining 2 items are called Dhana and Pratigraha. The Brahmanas accepts all kinds of contributions, Pratigraha, from his followers, namely the Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and Sudras. But he does not keep all the money. He keeps only as much as required and gives the balance to others in charity, Dana. In order for such a qualified Brahmana to worship deity, he must be a Vaishnava. Thus, the Vaishnava's position is superior to that of the Brahmana. This example given by Madhuvendrapuri confirms that even though a Brahmana may be very expert, he cannot become a priest or servitor of the Vishnu Murti unless he is initiated in Vaishnava mantra. After installing the deity of Gopala, Madhuvendrapuri initiated all the Brahmanas into Vaishnavism. He then allocated the Brahmanas different types of services to the deity. From 4 in the morning until night 10, from Mangala Artika to Shaina Artika, there must be at least 5 or 6 Brahmanas to take care of the deity. 6 Artikas are performed in a temple and food is frequently offered to the deity and the prasadam distributed. This is the method of worshipping the deity according to the rules and regulations set by the procedures. Our Sampradaya belongs to the disciplic succession of Sri Madhuvendrapuri, who belong to the Madhva Sampradaya. We are in the disciplic succession of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who was initiated by Sri Ishwarapuri, a disciple of Sri Madhuvendrapuri. Our Sampradaya is therefore called the Madhva Gauda Sampradaya. As such, we must carefully follow in the footsteps of Sri Madhuvendrapuri and observe how he installed the Gopala deity on the top of the Govardhana hill, how he arranged and performed the Annakuta ceremony in one day, and so forth. Our installation of deities in America and in the wealthy countries of Europe should be carried out in terms of Sri Madhuvendrapuri's activities. All the servitors of the deity must be strictly qualified as Brahmanas and specifically must engage in the Vaishnava custom of offering as much as prasadam as possible and distributing it to the devotees who visit the temple to see the Lord. Text 88. After taking rest, the deity must be awakened at the end of the day, and immediately some food and some water must be offered to him. This offering is called Vaikari Boha, food offered at the end of the day. When it was advertised that throughout the country that Lord Gopala had been appeared at top of Govardhana Hill, all the people from neighborhood villages came to see the deity. One village and after another was pleased to see, begged to Madhuvendrapuri to allow them one day to perform Annakuta ceremony. Thus, day after day, the Annakuta ceremony was performed for some time. Sri Madhuvendrapuri did not eat anything throughout the day, but at night, after laying the deity down to rest, he took a milk preparation. The next morning, the rendering of the service to the deity began again, and people from one village arrived with all kinds of food grains. Text 93. The inhabitants of the village brought to the deity of Gopala as much as food grains, ghee, yogurt, and milk as they had in the village. Purport. Anna, Grihata, Dhadi, and Dugda are food grains, ghee, yogurt, and milk. Actually, these are the basis of all food. Vegetables and fruits are subsidiary. Hundreds and thousands of preparations can be made out of grains, vegetables, ghee, milk, and yogurt. The food offered to Gopala in the Annakuta ceremony contain only these 5 ingredients. Only demonic people are attracted to other types of food, which we will not even mention in this connection. We should understand that in order to prepare nutritious food, we require only grains, ghee, yogurt, and milk. We cannot offer anything else to the deity. The Vaishnava, a perfect human being, does not accept anything not offered to the deity. People are often frustrated with national food policies, but with the Vedic scriptures, we find that if there are sufficient cows and grains, the entire food problem is solved. The Vaishyas, people engaged in agriculture and commerce, are therefore recommended in the Bhagavad Gita to produce grains and give protection to the cows. Cows are the most important animal because they produce the miracle food, milk, which can prepare ghee and yogurt. The perfection of human civilization depends on Krishna consciousness, which recommends deity worship. Preparations made from vegetables, grain, milk, ghee, and yogurt are offered to the deity and then distributed. Here, you can see the difference between ghee and
निकालो ना तुमसे पासवर्ड पूछ के उसको खोल दो ना तो किधर रहता है मुझे पता नहीं वहीं पे है 10 साल तक वो बस गिर जाएगा ऐसे ऐसे नहीं सूख जाएगा बस हो गया नहीं अभी काम ये थोड़ा सा हो गया हाँ इसी में वो बटन ये सब थोड़ा रैंडम करके डालना है Yep.
फर्स्ट क्लास तो होगी सर्विस ठंडा तो करना ही रहा फिर तो सदी मनाली की टिकट के साथ जो है भगवान संकीर्तन लीला करते हैं सुबह सुबह गोविंद लीलामृत में भगवान का लीला का वर्णन है सुबह कौन सा लीला करते हैं दोपहर में कौन सा लीला करते हैं शाम को चारों पहर में कौन कौन सा लीला चलता है लीला और लीला सेम टाइम तो लीलामृत इसका वर्णन है अमर पिता चरिम चिरा करुणयावती नो कलो समर्प्युक्तं नज्वलरसां सभक्तिश्रियं हरिपुरट सुन्दरं रुचिकन्दं वसन्देपितः तदा कंदरे प्रार्थना करते हैं ऐसे महापुरुष जो हमेशा जुड़े रहते हैं क्या है सचिनतन और हरि प्रकट हो हमेशा स्फूर्त होता रहे धाम ओम रूप लीला कुछ भी जय जय श्री चैतन्य सचिरानंदना जय जय नित्यानंद जानवाना सचिनंदन महाप्रभु की जय हो श्री जानवा माता की जीवन श्री नित्यानंद प्रभु की जय हो जय जय नवदीप सर्वधाम सार यथा कलियुगे है नवदीप धाम जो सारे धामों का सार है ऐसे धाम की जय हो और ऐसे कलयुग उसे गौर अवतार की जय हो जो सर्व यथा कलयुग है गौर अवतार जहाँ पे ऐसे कलयुग की भी हम क्या करते हैं प्रशंसा करते हैं और गौर अवतार जहाँ पे हुए हैं नित्यानंद प्रभु बोले सुना वचना सोलह कौशल अवधित यथा वृंदावन नित्यानंद प्रभु बोलते हैं सारे भक्तों को ये जो है 16 कोश का परिक्रमा से वृंदावन ही है 16 कोश नाम अष्टदल पद्म जना जलते ये जो 16 कोश का 9 दीप है 8 दलों का कमल जैसा है और बीच जो अंतर दीप है
हाँ
कमल का पुष्प आप खोल के देखिए कितना सुंदर दिखता है, पता नहीं क्या बोलते हैं उसको, जो भी है। तो उसी प्रकार से जो है ये अंतर्दीप का शोभायमान है बीच में जो है। माया पूरा योग कुठ सदा गोलाकार तथा नित्य चैतन्य विविध विहार। गोलाकार मायापुर और योगपीठ में चेतन महाप्रभु नित्य अनेक प्रकार
मायापुर
हमेशा सहस्त्र धनु तारा परिधि प्रमाण शास्त्र का धनु तारा इसकी परिधि 3000 धनु अर्थात 6000 मीटर है। इसका व्यास 1000 धनु अर्थात यहाँ पे नाम कितना है ये सब बता रहे हैं। इस योगपीठ में पंचतत्व कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद से द्वैत गदाधर शिवा साधु नाम के अन्य सभी स्थानों में इस योगपीठ की सबसे अधिक महिमा है। अति शीघ्र गुप्त हवे प्रभु इच्छा ये भागीरथी जन महाप्रभु की इच्छा से बहुत जल्दी ही स्थान भागीरथी के जन द्वारा अपने आप को अदृश्य कर लेगा। नित्यानंद को बता रहे हैं, इसीलिए तो अदृश्य हो गए चैतन्य महाप्रभु के लीला स्थल। तभी जो है सार्वभौम सॉरी जगन्नाथ जी जो है इनका जो है क्या किए खोज किए। कबू पुनः प्रभु इच्छा हवे बलवाना प्रकाश जब कभी पुनः महाप्रभु की प्रबल इच्छा होगी तब यह धाम फिर से प्रकट होकर दिव्यान होगा, दिव्यमान होगा। नित्य धाम कबू काले लोप नहीं है पुनर्वार देखिए राम कभी भी काल के द्वारा लुप्त नहीं होता है, बल्कि कभी अदृश्य रूप में रहता है तो कभी अप्रकट रहता है, भागीरथी पूर्वा तीरे हया मायापुरे नित्या गंगा नदी के पूर्व तट पर स्थित मायापुर में मेरे तो वो नित्य निवास करते हैं। लोक दृष्टये सन्यासी हयाय विसंभार चार्य नवदीप फिरे देश देशांतर। अरे यद्यपि लौकिक दृष्टि से विसंभर श्री चैतन्य महाप्रभु सन्यासी बनकर नवदीप को छोड़कर चले गए थे, परंतु वास्तव में मेरे गौरांग महाप्रभु नवदीप धाम में नित्य मायापुर छोड़कर कभी भी नहीं जाते। जैसे श्री कृष्ण मायापुर छोड़कर वृंदावन छोड़कर नहीं जाते, वैसे गौरांग महाप्रभु भी मायापुर से जाते हैं। वृंदावनम परित्यज्य पादिकम न गच्छति, तो मायापुर न परित्यज्य पादिकम न गच्छति। यहाँ पे वस्तुतः गौरांग मोरा नवदीप धाम छाड़िया न जाए कबू मायापुर ग्राम। लीला तारा देखे भक्त गण तुमो देखा जीव गौरांग। आप लोग चैतन्य महाप्रभु के नित्य लीला का दर्शन करते हैं, जी तुम भी गौरांग महाप्रभु के नित्य का दर्शन करोगे। मायापुर के चारों ओर वह अंतर्दीप शोभायमान है, जहाँ ब्रह्मा ने श्री गौरांग महाप्रभु का दर्शन प्राप्त किए थे। तो हे जीव चाह यदि देखिते सकल परिक्रमा कर तुम हरि देश के वचनों को सुनकर श्री गोस्वामी अपने उनके चरण कमलों के दंडवत प्रणाम करके कहने लगे, हे प्रभु मुझ किंचन पर कृपा करके आप स्वयं ही मुझे अपना साथ लेकर परिक्रमा कराइए। जी गोस्वामी प्रार्थना की इन ज्ञान को अपने साथ लेकर परिक्रमा कराइए। ये पहला दिन का ये है, लेकिन हम जिस कर्म से गए हैं उस कर्म से आने के बाद अंतिम दिन हम अंतर्दीप और मायापुर का जो है यहाँ पे वर्णन कर रहे हैं। जीवेरा प्रार्थना सुनी नित्यानंद राय तथास्तु बलिया निजन मानस जनाए। फिर जीव गोस्वामी की प्रार्थना सुनकर नित्यानंद बोले तथास्तु बोलकर अपने मन की बात सुनाई। नित्यानंद ने कहा, हे जी आज तुम मायापुर के दर्शन करो तथा कल से हम दूसरे स्थानों पर जाकर परिक्रमा करेंगे।
Arsa wants to go for a drive on his birthday.
मोहना मूर्ति प्रभु भावे ढल ढल अलंकार सर्वदेह करे झलमला। सिंचाई प्रभु गुणांग महाप्रभु के प्रेम में भाव विभोर होने के कारण धीरे धीरे चल रहे थे। उनका नित्य मनमोहक स्वरूप झूम रहा था तथा उनके सारे शरीर में आभूषण चमक रहे थे। जे चरण ब्रह्म शिव ध्यान नहीं पाए श्री जीवे करिया कृपा से पद पाए। श्री जी जो श्री चरण कमल ब्रह्मा शिवादि को ध्यान में भी प्राप्त नहीं होते, वही श्री चरण श्री जीव गोस्वामी के प्रति कृपा करके आगे बढ़ने लगे। पाछे था कि हिमालय पदंगेर धूली सर्वांगे माथे चले भरत लगे। पीछे चलते हुए श्री जीव गोस्वामी उनकी चरण रज को अपनी सभी अंगों पर लगाते हुए बड़ी प्रसन्नता पूर्वक चलने लगे। चलन ध्वनि जगन्नाथ विश्रा गृह कालीला प्रवेश। सब जो है जगन्नाथ के घर में प्रवेश किए। सची माता सिंचाया में जाना या सची माता के चरण कमलों ने परिचय दिया। यह माँ मैं जीवन सुना के जनानी है जीव महामती के माता है परम बुद्धिमान जी गौरांग का प्रिय दास और अति भाग्यवान है। श्री गौरांग प्रिय दास भाग्यवान बलिते जीव आचार्य परे चित्र मूल जैसे ही ने ऐसा कहा, उसी समय से जीव गोस्वामी ऐसे गिर पड़े जैसे तूफान आने पर वृक्ष जड़ सहित गिर जाता है। सचिरा चरणे पड़ी जाय गरागरी सत्विक विकार देहे करे उड़ा। जीव गोस्वामी श्री सची माता के चरणों में गिरकर और उनके शरीर में अनेक अष्ट सात्विक विकार प्रकट होने लगे। सची माता को जब जीव गोस्वामी प्रदान किए तो सब अष्ट विकार सब प्रकट हो गए और कृपा करके सची माता ने जिनको आशीर्वाद दिया, उस दिन उन्होंने वहीं पर ही प्रसाद पाया सची माता के घर में। और विष्णु प्रिया सची देवी आज्ञा जब पाइला विष्णु प्रिया सची देवी आज्ञा जब माता आज्ञा रही सची माता कई प्रकार के व्यंजन बनाए विष्णु प्रिया माता और सबको प्रसाद खिलाए। उस समय महाप्रभु नीलाचल में थे। श्री शिवानंद प्रभु कत छाने श्री गौरांगे भोग श्री वंशीवदन प्रभु ने कुछ ही देर में श्री वंशीवदनानंद प्रभु कत छाने श्री गौरांगे भोग श्री वंशीवदन प्रभु ने कुछ ही देर में सावधानी पूर्वक श्री गौरांग महाप्रभु को भोग अर्पण किया। ईशान ठाकुर ईशान ठाकुर ने आसान लगाकर हस्त नित्यानंद प्रभु को प्रसाद परोसा। पुत्र स्नेह सची देवी नित्यानंद पुत्र के स्नेह में माता सची नित्यानंद से बोलने लगे, आओ बादशाह नित्यानंद जननी हे पुत्र अपनी माता के घर पर प्रसाद करो। चंद्र पूजा में मैंने यह प्रसाद गुप्त रूप से सबको अर्पण किया है। और गौरांग महाप्रभु हमेशा चार स्थान में रहते हैं। सची माता के आंगन में सेवा के भीतर भागवत पंडित के घर और एक विद्यालय को धारित करते हैं। तो सची माता हमेशा जब भी भोग लगा जब भी खाना बना के परोसती थी चेतन महाप्रभु को। हालांकि वहाँ पे अदृश्य रूप में रहते थे लेकिन हमेशा चेतन महाप्रभु खाते थे। और सची माता को ऐसा लगता था कि वो खा लिए। तो चार जगह हमेशा चैतन्य महाप्रभु विद्यमान रहते हैं। राघव पंडित के घर, सची माता के आंगन में सची माता और शिवास के आंगन और विद्यालय का कीर्तन। तुम खाइले पर सुखी आप माने और तुम प्रीति पूर्वक से ग्रहण करोगे तो मेरा मन बहुत प्रसन्न बच्चे दास को अपने साथ ले गया। सीधी भगवान सीधा पौधे प्रथम और सीधी जो है जानकी अनाथ जीव पति बोले प्रभु जीवन जीवदाता उधर को रहता है जी तभी भक्त इस वंशी बदन को श्री कृष्ण की प्रिय वंशी के अवतार के रूप में जानते हैं। भगवान कृष्ण का जो वंशी है वो भी गौर लीला में वंशी या वंशी बदन के रूप में आए।
आरती लीजिए। आरती ऑनलाइन आरती लीजिए।
प्रकट हो गया तो वहाँ पे फिर से नया वृक्ष लगाया गया जहाँ पे अभी योग पीठ है तो नीम का प्रतीक है निमाई। तो चैतन्य महाप्रभु के स्पर्श से वो वृक्ष प्रकट हो गया था। तो अभी भी नीम का वृक्ष है वैसे। दूसरा है जगतकांदे नित्यानंद कलिया वर्णना जीववंशी देहे तत्कारे न करना। चैतन्य को उन स्थानों का वर्णन करते हुए जैसे भ्रमण कर रहे थे वैसे ही श्री वंशी वर्धन प्रभु साथ का वर्णन करने लगे। योग का वर्णन करते हुए अपनी पुरानी बातें श्री चैतन्य महाप्रभु के साथ जो जो लीलाएं किए थे नित्यानंद प्रभु वो बातें याद कर करके बहुत रोने लगे, बहुत विलन हो गए। और इनको रोता हुआ देख श्री जीव गोस्वामी आदि प्रवीण वंशीधर ठाकुर श्री रामदास शिवास आदि सब रोने लगे। तथा आइला श्रीवासा सारी जने चले छाले जगन्नाथ वास सतथनु तरते शिवासांगन जीव देखाइला प्रभु आनंदित माना। देखते ही देखते वहाँ पर श्री वास पंडित आ गए तथा चारों मिलकर श्री जगन्नाथ के घर को बाहर निकलकर शिवास आंगन के ओर चल पड़े। शिवास आंगन योग पीठ से 100 धर्मों यानी 200 मीटर उत्तर की ओर स्थित है। आनंद पूर्वक श्री प्रभु ने श्री जीव को शिवास आनंद का दर्शन कराया। शिवास आनंद क्या करते थे? स्वयं चैतन्य महाप्रभु अपने पार्षदों के साथ स्वयं नित्यानंद थे क्या करते थे? वहाँ अद्वैता प्रभु नित्यानंद राय। नाच को अद्वैत प्रभु नित्यानंद को सब नाच रहे हैं। गदाधर हरिदास नाचे आर गाए। गदाधर हरिदास आदि सब गा रहे हैं, नाच भी रहे हैं। शुक्लांबर नाचे और सत सत जाना। शुक्लांबर के साथ साथ सब नाच रहे थे। देखिया प्रेम तेजी बहला चेतना। यह दृश्य श्री जीव गोस्वामी को नजर आया। यह सब लीला चल रहा है और यह सब लीला का शिवा सांगन में चल रहा है। चेतना पाइले आर से रंग न पाया। आपस होश आने पर वे उस लीला के दर्शन नहीं कर पा रहे थे। गांधी जीव गोस्वामी करे हाय हाय। उस समय जीव गोस्वामी क्रंदन करते हुए कहने लगे, ओ मेरा जन्म कुछ समय पहले ही क्यों नहीं हुआ। शेष संगेरा संगे जय कैलो बिना। शेष न पाया कांते नरोत्तम दास। गोस्वामी रो रहे हैं कि मेरा जन्म उस समय क्यों नहीं हुआ कि ये इस लीलाओं में मैं क्यों नहीं भाग ले सका। अभी मुझे यह लीला देख करके मुझे इतना रोना आ रहा है। ठाकुर का अच्छा वचन